Well, as we're sitting here at LTV on Wednesday afternoon, September 20th, year 2023, and I just kind of didn't get the chance to make myself look halfway decent. Of course, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Hello show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Doherty and Francis Ann, and then, of course, all of you out there make it your business to enhance and beautify um, and fortify the concept of public access. And of course, nowadays, just about like any other day in the recent history, in the past history, to have a stage where you can be expressing your whatever it is that comes through your mind, um, and and have a mechanism in place that is actually encouraging you to do it, shows you the way to do it, provides you with a space that you might need in order to do it. When I say to do it, I mean to express yourself, to speak out loud, to paint paintings, to sing songs, to write music, to play drums, to paint paintings, and then of course write poetry and save humanity vis-a-vis metaphors and adjectives and just wonderful compositions by way of grids, colorful grids uh, um, with numerical references and alphabetical references. Um, so, of course, every time I sit here, I feel like the concept itself that happens to be just as sophisticated and complicated as it is actually simple and so casually put in place. So I, to say the least, am humbled by this experience, even though for many of you out there that know me and know that I can sit here for an hour or so and speak out loud, and most of which you won't be even be able to understand. So but still, nevertheless, accomplishing continuity, this kind of freestyle intensity. But for that sake, I wanted to call my friend um, Gary Swanson, and let's see, he just came from a trip in Italy, and let's see if we can find him and maybe get the chance to to talk to him. So let's see. Yeah, he's probably still having a jet lag, and so maybe he will call back. You never know. Um, so I feel really privileged. Well, I shouldn't say even privileged. I feel very happy to be here. I'm very happy to repeat myself and to repeat my actions. Whether I interview people, whether I kind of indirectly interview myself, really, in order to maintain um, a durable passage worth of 60 minutes where I just speak my piece and whatever. I can't even say speak my piece. I don't want to sound too obvious or too, but just experiment, maybe verbally elevate um, familiar grids and compositions that, for me as a painter, are very obvious and very straightforward. To the fact that actually this is this is the real meaning of cross implementation and the exercise of the uh, uh, luxury to have more than one medium with which one can, find oneself crisscrossing and giving birth to a lot of um meaning that otherwise will keep kind of be lost in the process of the attempts to decipher. And I'm the kind of person that like to decipher. I like to decipher because it's first of all, usually I like to decipher material that I create and that the other day, I finished the painting, and I felt like really proud of myself. I was looking, observing, checking, to a point where I started feeling strange. Like, what the heck am I sitting here, standing here, going around this painting and just admiring it? Like it's, and then realizing, my God, it's my painting. What am I doing? But so I thought that's actually there was a plus to be able to admire things that you do, because the bottom line of it is that it makes you feel happy. It makes you feel happy, and then you remember actually that it was happiness through which this painting was painted, vis-a-vis that, the essentials of the hardcore center of that which makes people happy, including yourself, of course. So I leave myself no chance to misinterpret my own preachings or something. I don't know, something like that. I I wanted to continue with my poetry sessions. You remember I was talking about the 100 poems, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm almost approaching 80. Let's see if I'm correct here. Now, I want to just continue and share with you, but that will be, oh yeah. So from last time, I think I was, yes, 87 poems. But I think that last time it was 70. Uh, oh yes, this is what it was. Okay, this is so. It's so easy to be able to be successful and to succeed, to think about something when it comes to the creative process, or a medium with which you want to execute a plan, and put in place an idea and put it in motion. Uh, so you potentially overexhaust yourself before you even start to take the first step. So you are able to envision how it's supposed to be, how it could be, um, and you are witnessing almost as close as possible to what the true version of it will be once you start the real journey for real. Um, so with poetry, I found out that if I can see an incident and there's something that brushed against my vision, my eyesight, my that I can make an incredible decision to invest my time in order to execute an idea that just crossed through my mind, and even though it was fast here and gone, I still got enough by way of that excitement and the understanding of what it is, clearly understanding what it is that I want to do, what this inspiration, this suddenness has to offer to me. What did it leave behind? What is it that I noticed and identified that it left behind? And I grabbed it as much as I could, because I had that brief second to take whatever it is that I can take out of it. And then after it was all said and done, I could turn my head and look into the treasures. Now I know it was these were elements of and ingredients of treasure, and realize to what extent that brief action, the act that I took, the for some reason realizing that even though everything happened suddenly, that attraction, that amazement, that satisfaction is as clear as if I owned it all my life. Um, And then so the decision to write 100 poems was because I wanted to plead it with the forces of nature on the behalf of the well-being of a friend of mine that went through some crazy things, not for long, but the intensity in which he found himself in that situation that almost, well, actually derailed him for a little while until he realized that there are people out there that care about him, care for him, and show him that they care vis-a-vis their attempt to their willingness to cope, their willingness to offer, to invest, and to give their time in order to erect an artistic structure that will help anyone who wants to feel a feeling of a relief. When you look at something and you know it's helping you, and you don't understand exactly why and how come, but you feel that that's what's taking place. So sometimes you just want to be smart enough to say, well, if that's how I feel when I'm here, when I'm with that, then that's what I'm going to be doing for a while. Spend as much time as possible in order to prolong that feeling, and in order to be able to create with fluency as long as I can, because this is what it really means when you go through certain things that guarantee you unconditional creativity. I wouldn't even say anything close to inspiration. It's much more than that. It's an assurance. It's a guarantee. It's a it's camaraderie. It's friendship. It's um, um, accepting you to a new family. It's reassuring you of of your of your capabilities, of your potential. It's offering you help and and a partnership for deciphering together, and having things available in place for you to find yourself actually with answers to needs that otherwise before it would be like almost like a lifetime project to get from point A to point B, and now you realize this was just ridiculous. You found a way to operate alongside the high speed vessel. While you're not impressed by this high speed, even though you appreciate it, but you don't obviously think think that it's holier than thou, because you've seen a thing or two in your life. You experience speed and accuracy and force and strength and clarity of thought, clarity of vision, clarity of expression, clarity of existence, clarity of living. So, this was like a gesture to someone who is drowned, but I saved that someone who was just about to drown, even though I couldn't swim myself. But don't even ask me. But I saved that individual, and I made a coherent decision long before I thought that that individual really needs my help. It was much uh, uh, further into the halfway between the present and the future. So let me share the um, it's gonna be from 75 to 87. Um, so yes, my special artist dream for truth to shed light and heat. Scroll as in heart of the kind brain, slow down when needed. Eyelashes serve a prayer for an immediate attention. You're not aware of the developing sing along scenario. It is a support group of angels, a gathering of goodwill. For the well deserved, you're granted this title. What's next for you? A ray of light reveals sequences of flashes Their brightness cannot help itself but shed its might over the doomed, bring back over the doomed and bring back a promise to cruise around the sadness of deep, penetrating bleakness and serve you the revitalizing dish you so deserved. I mean, making sure you are aware of the love we have for you and find a tune, let it switch your mood from end to end, graze a source of self nurture, not torture this time. This time, grind the teeth of the other, and one who loans an idea or two. Then do not be surprised how melancholy becomes the item of the day, skipping a group hug, diving into the mellow, allowing the neck to see through, and even a granted hype to keep showing off instead, in self raving about self, and game over not yet happens to be a loathing briefer with a grasp of scapegoating, scapegoating, or maybe a goat for dinner under false identities, asserting wisely, I knew you would pull through because you dive, and your dive was shallow to begin with, and the last gesture built I place of total mayhem, but with command over the slip and slope and down to earth, guaranteed to then self go ahead, please yourself. After all, you know your needs better than the inability of the crowd to phrase and thank you and show their bottoms of their hearts full. Thank God, a bunch of troublemakers erupted in the middle of the demand for submission. You didn't seem to blink by the motion to divide a state of mind from a state of nature, to resist a dive into freelancing and sadness. It was revealed to me by your body gesture and posture. You were ready to turn in the essence of your independence, but to whom you were not quite sure, only the reflection of your body heat traveled clumsily with every step you took, and the work on your eyes wanted to excuse yourself in the face of your surrender, even though you knew it's heading for a collision of some sort. But another pair of eyes did not let this escalation take you away from us, even though, despite as alongside stressing, and voila, there you have it. To some, like if was as if not based on any needed green light, swinging anybody's hand is at risk. Some crave the narrow pass way closing in along, some sweetness greets a hole with the royalty postures of closing in to familiarize. And what for Pete's sake is the matter with him? Blame the wind, the origin of the breeze, the left wing. Which is it that sponsored the living pattern to be torn? Not a wink without recollections, not a glance for placements, forsaken and needy, you, the sheepskin owner, step forth, wide open with difficulty to breathe in the pitch dark, pulling is not the answer if your biceps don't speak easy. Hiding in the push for light, one's sober pitch declines when you'll grab my hand and I will plow the youth section. Paramount, steady stream of permanence, pride stricken, dream like a baby, like a grown up, grinding the youthful, grinding the youthful aspect of pain. So it hurts with a low level of an introduction of final steps approaching in a normal pace. Funny scares, drama on a strange level, even before the first smile brought you back. Close enough to sequence and release some sobriety despite the reassuring phase it rattled and shaken, so surreal, so agreeable to a so branchy, a soft spoken bell, plain and fancy, the shift to a so gracious and kind you that night that night you were taking for the signs to rift over that night was uh, a night you were taken for the signs to rift over. That night was yours, all yours, yet we all wanted to have a piece of it, to learn the dancing, hopping, of the handling. They also have what you deserve, what his passed over the heads for thought. Guard, you little big bold blast away born, gradual yet now max capacity switch, blindfolded, ground grazed, raised, swift elevation. You found yourself grazing bottom, and all the imagery grasped it too. Tribes of apes. So what? Human beings spending joint superiority? Drum roll blasted and smoky pearl below the same stabilizing factors. Hey, you, the pecker to sawdust of striking blame, and grounded, looking behind the curvy line, bless the same stream of awarenesses without a warning and a warming, springy and lightweight melodies and poetic slogans. As long as I am with you, knowing and stalling and accelerating, I slow down this curve down the road is aimless and dangerous. I remember via your recollections due to a slowing down factors, the weight, if off the upper part, and slowdowns brief more often. So, I mean, I don't know what to compare it to other than, and this was, I just want to examine something here. 1 second. Okay, so 45, that's good. That's not bad. I missed my cup of coffee, but I thought that actually it's fun to find myself, so I can just do, if that was 74, uh-huh, the yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do. because if this is that, oh yeah, you kidding me? That's like wow. Yeah, this is from the sub series that's called Of All Magic, and writer unknown. Uh, and this is like, I think, a freestyle that comes from someone who struggles with a language that's not his and doing his best with just the right amount of distortion. That's all I can say. Dare to smile and become the sun. I love the prediction. You will always love me, as I will always adore you, as you will always love my expression, and I will always treasure your friendship. You faded without a warning. I looked for you frantically, and when I found you, you already belonged to the devil. I pleaded from within in a quiet pain and stretching, humming, pulling these glazes of love to show you the traces of love, the glimmer of that which is a given, so given, draining, not the scream for regard, and I'm here, though I'm alone, and it's painful, and it's painfully reshaping that which should be left alone. You were driven by your search to relieve the kind I could not have, I could not have given you, and I let you embrace the gruesome death, your dirty death, in the hands of the silent killers with a special license to do their jobs, to clear the paths for the normalcy to proceed. And I wanted so to hug your temporal, hesitating, dragging exit. Dream like a hero, soul searching beauty. It says about him. Yeah, I love that. How he uses it. Dream like a hero, soul searching beauty, left to fend for righteous contents. Build up, chin over surfaces, even often chew and swallow. It's a trip for grandma to greet us with love of Hall of Fame. You, you come, stand steady, look at me, imitate me, breadcrumbs, collecting sleepovers with worries in mid flight, blown to the bridge strings and back, seriousness bouncing, crossing, place a deal, clear love to grab the doubt in shreds. It's coming to terms like a notice and an announcer blessing the fleet amidst crossing leveling plains, rigid and ball breaking, at least last call approaching, low night generating fumes, list of the familiar terms breaking. I lowered my voice. I welcomed the grief. I wiped my tears. I defended. I rolled down. I kneeled, begged, pleaded, pointed out. I showed my clear vision, blending across the tryout of learning to mean the expression on its way out, well designed to be placed with the proper blessings as a sense to gather quietly. Dilemma configures shyly. Doorknob for the hearing impaired blasted suddenly. On the other side of juices flowing, dreams became solid. I truly mentioned you on the brink of pity and desire to bring you back to life. You're the host of ghost breathing through vigor expressions, presenting one another, breathtaking issues overflow, not a ritual too sluggish to suggest we are blanking, we are a fraction of clarity, but the size of immensity overshadowed overshadowed the right to silly the gaps. Those are the openings of split decisions, becoming the traps of innocence, capturing the obviousness at mid sessions tryouts. I will stay behind you. I will free the cut stem. I will fly with a ship above water filled with liquid. She will be the beauty of the ocean, to stay and parade the long stretch of breathing underwater, the sum which gathered its might to bring home the message of death, giving birth to the best of us, learning to crawl, a swift transition, the softening type. I'm glad an encounter, a sweet spark of bravery. I'm pleased, torn ligament of bodily function, sour blast silent and clear, bold admission, close to the heart which accepts its chasing and its ceasing, its route admitted, a crave for, and he goes forth, for rhythm leads now the remains of the exquisite, the hushed slide crash, with your approval to the gallows, to the march of self annihilation, knowing that gratitude is firm and bright and sober. Dream like a bird, motion from flapping wings, choosing to sing above the night of a spiritual surge. Roll over the breathing channel, slip the melting moisture. I'm here as a matter of building up trust, growing into the clouds, missing links, blast in the hidden search, skies of growing powers, lowers a new song, and it shows a sing along that is a placement of a merge with airstrike now left alone to breach a self out of a sing along through vanishing uh that's out of a sing along through vanishing purposes badly placed, not a desired goal. It's a hole. It's a hole in the ground, and you're liable. I mean, we are all harm, hum, hum a tune in the waiting room. In the meanwhile, rest your head. I offer a shoulder, slippery and smooth, smooth transition with a rollover as it cleans and measures, in a white statement issuing the go ahead in private sector by sector, round focus a little bit to the left, remaining one small danger, change. A It's best not more than the listening point. Some revive and some choose. It chooses to touch the sky, not flat. A difference to the new logic sinking, syncing, brush multi-purposed. I better be a moon, A moon discovered on the planet base missing, keeping revealed anchor. And after your appearance, you complete a sense of surface carving, not to be believed. Your devotion, lyrically absorbed and placed, and I don't care to share my knowledge with the scientists. Lay the first draft, drop the second play, place the third scene, drum the beat of God's asking for your soul back in a pile of post-flesh experience, splattered and smeared all along smiley, nod, frightened, terrified to blink and disappear at the same time. Don't let me delay your hanging your clothes behind you on your journey to shed, and she will, the field of misery and growth, grow aged. Admire my seeds of maneuvering. I, the silky skies, you could not have imagined better the accuracy of God's love and the refer you planned your death through the gentleness of your birth. But I did see myself drifting in the parallel lines of your last days on earth. You glazed the periodic disappearance and bouncing back, hiding onto the bat of your preference. And I mended your unknowing news with solid therapy and glamour and promises of beyond lovely friendship and love and care and defense and shelter and shedding resolve and giving self to the outmost, even alongside the biggest sons of bitches ever lived to walk the earth. We seething, having guarantee presence and yielding via an imagined hard-earned center. Now, reach, relax, have a grip of lone stars, soon enough to be injected into your glamour, deep glamour, and words of wisdom the world needs to hear and experience and smell and breathe and measure to the finest details, storytelling, masters of plainness, an ordinary being indeed. You were being the smooth sweetness, as necessary as in might have been governed by the sense of regard and presence. Second time around, you were caught by the devil. It let you go, unheard of, flashed back, and it signaled, I'm more than the return and hope combined. A self secured, especially for this, for the feels, for especially for me, feels lonely and sad on its own path to finally meeting you at the outskirts of death alive. So let's dance one day early, clashing the old flesh. Here comes a day anticipated. How harsh the surrender. It's time, the day has arrived. Lost in the fog of live with a slap high pitched and a learning. Here comes me, sliced and spalding, river crossing throughout the flesh and human debris. You're closer, that is, would reach plundering, sympathizing, sharing love lost. There's no love lost between. There a chirp high, and there is a place for the thumb print, a block, the view. And I was, as I am, fortunate to live the moral neck turning. I caught you. You, in turn, played a role. It reflected asking and absorbing. And slow portion prophets of heavenly instructions, a godly presence, a sudden pull into the boiling pot of destiny, transparent charts. Well, this is just the first two sentences of the beginning of the second part. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's just the way I gonna try to read it properly because mind you, it's not easy to understand what the poet meant. Um, so I just wanted to remind you that we're sitting here on Wednesday afternoon, September 20th, year 2023, here with the Hello Hello Show at LTV, the east end of Long Island. Wonderful public access entity that we have here. And my name is Haim Mizrahi. And I'm just kind of trying to exercise my way of trying to understand what the artist meant or said, which is almost like a dead end that you try to deal with, even though you know there's no way out. So I wanted to get to the beginning of the second portion and maybe approach the middle of the second portion and call it a day. I think it's kind of feels like a poetry day. I love it because actually I read so much here to you guys. I'm gonna go home and write one for the books. Yeah, I think we can do that. We have another 10 minutes here. So he goes overflowing in the deposits of melodies and piling up of harmonies, never left alone, never instructed nature to bleed upon contact. Rusty heritage now shows itself in a motion chosen carefully. I built that structure of closeness, the familiar route to growing old. Together, out of all the seams of opportunistic light rays shine through, a pitch dark, condensed, lifeless air. I carry it with anticipation, a pleasant finding out, drawing the conclusion to continue to live. You and all of the human offerings blasting a message through, baffled, no, still observant, timid and carefree, slow and eager. That's the floating message, arriving from the drift closer to the most distant truth, circling its own rotation into submission. Hold on, still our love, not yet dissipating, has a rhyme unique to its own nature, promise to guard the passage to greatness on earth, hopping and hoping to have you there on a glide, a ride, a slip, a cut through, a romantic passage, with you included within me, together for the sake of the saints, full of anticipation and angst. The promise works. It works its magic. It carries its own burden with pride, self assured, heading towards the undeniable love it belongs to all of us. Yet it serves the pinpointed needs of the heart to seal the union so past due, this union, trimming and placing and measuring and charging, all to show a bit of determined mind glancing through the back door. The swing of kings, you bring them closer to inner moments and movements. The rowing of night swings, you could tell if it's a downhill swing. The rumors of night blessed be the outcome of homecoming. The king rules quietly, not even a sound of disturbance. It's ruling, and its ruling placed the royal order in front of the climbing front, a dismissal. Blend through the crown of bird watchers, kneaded and needled through the necks of the air waving as it waves eloquently with a flapping of the wing. I knew once a feel, time taking over, grinding over, you, giving you what you deserve. Young and healthy, agile and hefty, greeting both ends with courtesy. You give me one to rebound. You give one to resound the epic melody. Dream with the king back to the castle of fake refuge. Carry on the momentum. The momentum yields for routine to lift the horizon, breaking even, equal with the slash. Green sorting and twisting the roast slippery. So slippery, tender bellies lowering best wishes. This world is hungry. Draw a peak. It's yours to pick. Through the fields, dream aplenty. It's yours to stick with a calendar of your choice. The count begins today. Today is Wednesday. And I could say it could easily be Friday. So not even a stretch of hair growing with a strategy to appeal with a dent on this hard surface that never yielded, never sustained the devil's son of a evil blown. Blown is the son of the preacher, this time a soft belly, giving the world back a sense of grounding, a thought between loving curves and breathing passions. Lower the sight, earning brush seeking, bath taking, form shaping. Lust proves the sense of bright handling, glimmer of hope. For this time, to blow away the smirk, admire, blast close to the public. Bound plus sorting in a daylight glitch for resting unpredictably. Turn at our experience and convenience. Lock your eyes with a bit of shame, blocking the description so grand and ode made mode sample nirvana. It's for the sake of getting to know the others. Whom are whom are they? To be a saucepan blister, fool, and all the dancing angels. They to be a lock, nod, release, youth at the mercy of the short trips. Don't discover not always a hive and tidies touch away, signatures of hailing figure, south spent northern song riding, blip to the bits and beats, a small gesture to gem finding, lovingly at history's serenades, topping a huge hug full of blisters, nodding in vapor's fog, it woes, sore, and touch burning. At last, some caution pleading, barely passionately bringing the self to hibernate and cover the air pockets of brief attempts. The whole sermons, as surrounded with care and attraction, a seasonal brief would spit the texture of the runaway of hideouts. Open cuts inside a sealed heart. They greet royalties daily. The beep on the shoulder, not as proper as the occasion calls for the oneness. For oneness is a sign of keeping company within a short space. A given is style formation. No animals of any kind. No animals of any kind around. Not even a choice to reveal choices to jointly sing along, putting your life on the line, risking everything to make one person happy. The fruit of mental allowances recalls a panic attack. The dream began a bit late, strip of actions taken, hidden, and trails a declaration as is soft believed, not with an entrance, not even every drive-by brings a shaky connection to brief eloquently make the sound of knowing the terrain and holding the back end with ready fingers, the tapping along the meaning under heavy weight, and all the surroundings bring a package of recognition, one for each desire, slashing the easy grappling as each forms a firm hold. Haste from spears of heaven tidy, fluctuations, loops through desire, ancient and troubling to the bloodlines, as here it sails the reflection of the ignored and sharp, bright installments. Keep this giant machine going to make it between the rulers of homelessness and seeking of blushing faces and the opposite also on the same subject, reiterating a tear as it jumps gaily over the cheek, the slippery journey of human surfaces. Being at the mercy of mood swings, I noticed once or twice, sad, sad, so same day correction, hand in hand, bolstering a friendship, a tournament of likability. You are me, plus the stranger with good intentions crossing the path of the needy with an oath, close to the flat surface of pumping life, circling the inner earth of the only life in existence. Slow down maybe even close the curtains. The images are blurry. Since the cross motion tones, it tones down in the face of pinpointed efforts, blend into the earth, moving pavements of emotional and spiritual musts. You say number 10. I say the magic is not complete. That's something like that, So you cannot not admire the willingness of someone to write, just like, okay, pick up and write, and one like me can read it and say, okay, sounds good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being tolerant with me doing whatever it is that I feel like I should do. We're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here this afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, September 20th, year 2023, here with the Hello Hello Show. And my name is Haim Mizrahi. And by the way, we have an ongoing art show, as we have every month, a different art show, group art show. This month until the end of September, Dan Weldon is here with us. Come and check us out. It's a great show. Come make the effort. And then we have Andrew Bailey for next month, and some really surprise names, big names, great artists and all this. And that's for the month of October. So that's pretty much it. Keep safe, be happy, and we'll see you tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and yesterday and the day before yesterday, because we're here all the time. That's what we like.